Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial, and in this tutorial I'll be talking about virtual environments in Python. A virtual environment is an isolated environment for Python projects, and it makes it possible to have unique dependencies for each project regardless of what dependencies every other project on your machine has. So in this tutorial we are going to use virtualenv to create virtual environments in Python. So let's get started and install virtualenv. So to install virtualenv, all we have to do is use pip, and we'll say pip install virtualenv. If this fails, you can try another thing. Just say python -m and say pip install virtualenv, and this has to install virtualenv in your system. So basically, just because I have already installed virtualenv, I will not go through the process again. But what we can do now is start by creating a virtual environment in Python. So to create a virtual environment in Python using virtualenv, all you have to do is say python -m virtualenv, and then the virtual environment name. I'll just call mine main virtualenv. This will create our virtual environment. So now that it has created our virtual environment, if I check this directory, you'll see that we have a couple of directories inside it. And if we come to the scripts directory, you'll see that we have a lot of scripts. We have Python inside it, we have pip3, we have pip 3.9, okay, we have pip in other words. And we also have this activate bat and deactivate.bat. So to start using our virtual environment, we always have to activate the virtual environment. So basically, the way we activate a virtual environment is that is with cmd. We do the following. So I start with the name of the virtual environment, of which mine is virtual main venv, like that, and then this slash, and we want to go to scripts and activate and learn the activate.bat. So I'll say activate.bat, and if I learn that, you see that now we have activated the virtual environment, and this gives us a hint of what virtual environment we are using. So it says main venv. Another thing we can do is to check the path of Python that we're using. So I'll say python, and if I learn this, you see that basically it says the first option it gives us on the list is this Python, which is in the main venv. So that's how we know that we are using Python from the virtual environment. Okay, so now that we have activated our virtual environment, what we can do here is say pip list, just to get all the packages that we have in this virtual environment. And if that lands, let's see what we have. So right here you can see that we have pip 22.0.4, we have setup tools, and we have wheel. Basically we don't have any other package, but if I check for example the main Python, you see that I'll have a lot of Python packages. But since this is a virtual environment, we have newly created this virtual environment, you can see that it has no other packages apart from the ones that comes with the virtual environment. So what I'll do right now is install pandas. So I'll say pip install pandas. So now that we've installed pandas, if we say pip list, you now see that apart from pandas, we also have numpy. We also have this. We didn't have this at first. So these are packages that are required for you to use pandas. So Python will install them as it is installing pandas. But you can see that now it is growing, and at the level that we are finishing developing our project, we have maybe a lot of packages. At that moment, you would want to, for example, to share your project. And sometimes what happens is, if you share your project and someone just installs, lands your projects and installs those packages one by one, they might have issues with versions, or like a lot of issues comes in. So what you can do is you can freeze, or you can just get a text version of your packages with their versions and share along with your project. So what I'll do is I'll say pip freeze. It's pip freeze minus local, just for us to take the packages that belong to this environment. And then I'll say the output should be requirements.txt. And if I land that, you see that we have created a requirements.txt file, and it contains all the packages that we're using together with the version that we've installed. So that is pretty good. If you share your project and you also share your requirements.txt, people will really appreciate, because you will really save their time. So for example, like someone sent you a requirements.txt file. So what do you do? So for that, what I'll do is I'll create another virtual environment, like an empty virtual environment, and then try to install our packages from the requirements.txt. So I'll go through the same process of creating a virtual environment. Now I'll just do it a little bit faster. So it will be Python -m virtue, like that, virtualenv, and then the virtual environment name. I'll just call this one, for example, Django. Let's say I'm working with Django, so it'll be Django VNV. Okay, so if I land this, you see that it will create a new environment, Django VNV. So right now we have this virtual environment called Django VNV, and we want to activate this virtual environment. So to do that, now we have activated our Django VNV, our Django virtual environment. And what I want to do is I want to say pip list, just to get all the, okay, it's pip. Okay, so this will help me get all the packages that comes with the virtual environment, or the packages that the virtual environment has. And since it's newly created, you can see it only comes with these packages. What I want to do is to install packages from our requirements.txt, which is 6, pytz, util, pandas, and numpy. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll say pip install -r requirements.txt. Let's see how that goes. And you can see that it has started installing our packages. Okay, so now our installation has gone successfully, and if I do the same pip list, right now you see that we have all these packages from the requirement txt. So that is how this whole process of creating virtual environments, of trying to freeze your packages and share along with your projects, we've seen how this simplifies the whole process of development. And this is what I had for you in this tutorial. And the last thing I'll do is just to deactivate. I think I did that, but I didn't mention it. So if you want to deactivate from a virtual environment, you deactivate, and you can see that we have deactivated from the virtual environment. So yeah, this is all I had for you in this tutorial. Until next time, peace.